brief them about the 5 types in which of your devotee, which Mataji said, how a devotee relishes these rasas. So
Wait. These are 5 types of what?
how a devotee relishes rasa. So these
Mhm.
are the 5 types of cases, you can say, which combine together one to taste the mellow of the devotional service in the highest form of transcendental ecstasy. And you also told that the most important activity that elevates us to this platform or to this bhava is by hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam, and that is why Srila Prabhupada introduced Srimad Bhagavatam classes in the morning program itself, so that everybody would ultimately come to this transcendental platform and feel this transcendental bliss and ecstasy. So then you briefed about a little bit about all the 5.
Okay, just one. Anyone
So
else?
Vibhav is
Yeah.
okay. Thank you so much. So Vibhav is the special symptoms or the causes of ecstasy. You said. So should I tell the
Okay.
other ones also, or
Yeah, that's one point. That's sufficient.
thank you so much, Hare Krishna Dandavat
Okay,
Pranam.
one last point. Anyone else would like to share? Just hold on for a moment.
हरे कृष्ण. There was one point, important point that श्रीमद् भागवतम पढ़ प्रभुपाद बताते हैं कि श्रीमद् भागवतम पढ़ने से हमें में रस की वृद्धि होती है हमारी. इसीलिए इस्कॉन में सुबह और शाम भागवतम और भगवद गीता पढ़ाई जाती है.
Okay. So we discussed that how the southern division starts with the invocation to whom? To Sanatana, and Sanatana by Sanatana, Srila Rupa Goswami denotes 2 personalities. It may mean Krishna, the killer of Aghasur, or it may refer to Sanatan Goswami, the elder brother of Srila Rupa Goswami. And by taking shelter of Sanatan Goswami, all kinds of sinful activities are annihilated. So then we discussed about the overview of Southern Division. So it describes how a devotee relishes rasa, and then we discussed these are not 5 types. Actually, these are 5 components of rasa. There's a difference between 5 types and components. So all of these 5 types of components mixed together, and they produces rasa. Rasa is not only the Shant Ras, Dasya Ras, Sakhya, Vatsalya, Madhurya. Usually, when we say normal day-to-day language, we think that this eternal relationship, this eternal mood a devotee has, a particular mood with Krishna, that is called as rasa. However, that is only one component of rasa, the eternal affection that a devotee has in that particular mood. But there are still 4 other components of rasa. And what are they? They are Vibhav, Anubhav, Sattvic Bhav, and Vyabhichari Bhav. So Vibhav we saw as the cause of ecstasy, just like the mother always loves a child, but seeing a particular face or particular activities or particular movements of that child increases her, brings out her and ecstasy, and she's able to enjoy that affection. That is Vibhava. And then there is Anubhava. Anubhava is the action that is performed when the mother's ecstasy is heightened. The action that is performed during that time, that is called as Anubhava. And then we discussed about Sattvic Bhava. These are also the actions like Anubhava, but these are involuntary expressions. These are not premeditated. This happens with completely spontaneously. Just like hair standing on end, becoming stunned, crying. So all these are Sattvic Bhava. And finally we discussed about Vyabhichari Bhava. Vyabhichari Bhava is an emotional experience that results from intensified affection for Krishna. Just like Krishna was in the coils of serpent Kaliya. And then 5th component was Thai Bhava, all the 5 rasas. So So actually, this Thai bhava is called as rati. So the technical term for sthai bhava, sometimes it is also referred as rati, or Srila Prabhupada describes as continuous ecstasy. So when rati, when vyabhichari bhav, sattvic bhav, vibhav, anubhav, all this mixed together, they produce this rasa. Right?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Prabhuji, then if a person who is experiencing transcendental bliss will be experiencing all these five categories or five these components together, or would it be that a person experiences maybe one or two components only? Do we have examples for this?
I can give only Mataji theoretical answers to all of this. Someone, when we are on that platform, we'll, of course, when one is on that platform, one simply experiences. At that time, there is no analysis. But yes, and our state we can analyze in all these ways. Usually, it's a mixture of these different types of components, and that is why it is called as apurvat. That the taste of rasa is so astonishing that it stays always fresh, and it always seems unprecedented, as if we are experiencing for the first time. For example, let us say the same example. When a mother sees the beautiful face of the child, her ecstasy would increase. It brings out her affection. But then she would express that affection in some particular way. So maybe she would hug the child, or she would feed the child, she would play with the child. So accordingly, it would happen. It doesn't happen that all five mix together at the same time. It doesn't happen that every time Sattvic Bhava would be produced. Simply Vibhav and Anubhav can be there. So all the permutation combination can happen. Either one mixture of either one or two or three or four or five. It's not that Mother Yashoda is always her hair are standing on end or she is becoming stunned. So that happens sometimes. And similarly, Vyabhichari Bhava, it doesn't happen all the time. Just like when Krishna was in the coils of Kaliya, it happened in for that particular time duration only. It is not that at all times it would happen like this. So different things, different uh, components comes out at different times to produce the rasa. Main thing is giving enjoyment to Krishna and experiencing that reciprocation with Krishna. So whatever it takes. So yes, it doesn't happen. I mean, all five things at the same time are on at peak. No, it doesn't happen that way. But they mix together in such a way that devotee is experiencing happiness.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
So then we discussed about how this rasa can be achieved. So we discussed about how Srila Rupa Goswami mentions that in the first chapter, or I think in the preface or introduction, somewhere there, that unless one has previous connection with a devotional service, one cannot take it up. And Srila Prabhupada says, by pure devotees' instructions and mercy, even if one has no previous connection, they can still accept the process of devotional service. So then it is performed, it is received by the platform by sadhana bhakti. And sadhana bhakti, specifically, we discussed about hearing Bhagavatam and associating with Vaishnavas who are on the platform of relishing rasa. And it's just like, let us read some specific lines. Actually, sometimes it's little tough. I mean, more comfortable with the book. If all of you have books, you can take out page number. If you have English book, page number 152. Yes. So this is, in other words, this transcendental bliss is not to be enjoyed by any common man unless he is so extraordinarily fortunate as to be in association with devotees or to be continuing his previous birth's devotional service. And then this joyous life is attained by one's reaction to reading Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, or else from associating with persons who are very interested in the spiritual life of Krishna consciousness. These two things you'll see it everywhere throughout all the scriptures, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, even the verses that we are chanting of chapter 15. If you read the translation, go by word meaning, you'll see the same points being made. Asanga Shastrena, for a weapon, Asanga Chittavasha, Dridena. So by hearing and chanting. So now, so what is the definition of Vibhava? Prabhupada writes, cause or basis. The cause or basis for relishing transcendental mellow is exactly what we mean by Vibhava. So this is Vibhava. And this Vibhava is further divided into two categories, the basic and impelling. What is basic? It is the Sanskrit word for basic that Srila Rupa Goswami uses is alamban, and impelling means udipan. And Srila Rupa Goswami quotes from Agni Puran, the basis from which ecstatic love is found is called Vibhava, which is divided into two, basic and impelling. So basic means the subjects in which rati are tasted. For example, primarily there are two subjects who will relish the taste of affection. Who are those two personalities? One is Krishna, and second would be the devotees, Krishna's devotees. So next 5 chapters would discuss this in detail, specifically about the basic one, alamban. And then impelling, what do we mean by impelling? So these are the objects by which rati is tasted. So one are the subjects who are tasting the rati, and the second are the objects by which rati is tasted. Of course, in spiritual world there is no thing as objects. All are conscious living personalities. But just to understand contextually, for example, Krishna's flute, Krishna's footprints, Krishna's prasadam, right? And Srila Prabhupada writes, impelling ecstatic love then is that love which develops when one sees an object which remind him of Krishna, right? So this vibhava is of two types, is further divided into two categories. One is basic and second is impelling. Basic or vibhav alamban are the subjects in which rati is tasted, and impelling are the objects by which rati is tasted. And then Srila Prabhupada summarizes. There are several origins or causes for this compulsive love of Krishna, such as Krishna himself, the devotee of Krishna, and Krishna's playing on the flute. The effect is sometimes loving and sometimes stunted. So, Krishna himself is the, which category is it? Krishna, the basic or impelling? The basic. That means Alamban. Devotees of Krishna, because they are the subjects, they are actually relishing, impelling. And Krishna's playing on the flute is so. So Vibhava is the primary factor, primary component that transforms Rati into Rasa, right? See, all the other stages, they happen at the later on stage, but the first and foremost thing is Vibhava, which happens because it is the first initiator, the stimulant which causes devotee to relish the affection with Krishna. So when the Rati is heightened to a particular height, then there are further things that happens. Anubhav, Satvik, Vyabhichar and Style. But it is Vibhava that is the primary factor, that is a primary stimulant that would transform Rati into Rasa. Now Vibhava, and Vibhava is of two categories we just saw, basic and impelling. Now Vibhava basic, that means Alamban, is further divided into two subdivisions, that is Vishay and Ashray. So Vishay means object, Krishna is the object of affection, and Ashray means shelter. Krishna's devotees are the shelter. And just like Ashray also refers to as reservoir. Just like a reservoir is the source of water, similarly the devotee is the source of love of Godhead. Right? So now Vishay, that means Krishna, because subjects are also two types. Krishna is also enjoying, Krishna's devotees are also enjoying. But Krishna is the object of love, he is the primary object of affection, and devotees are the ashray, ashray of love of God. They are the reservoir of love of God. So now Vishay, why we are discussing this in detail? Because to find out the connection with the next chapter. So Vishay, that means Krishna as the object of ecstatic love. So Krishna has different forms. And each form, he acts as an object for his devotees' love. So then Srila Rupa Goswami here mentions about Anya Rupa. That means Krishna takes on an entirely different form to stimulate devotees' love. Just like in Brahma Vimohan Leela, Krishna took the forms of so many cows and cowherd boys, and thus they became the object of Balram's ecstatic love. In the same chapter, see, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a statement in connection with the Brahman which demonstrates something of this. Lord Krishna, who is the possessor of inconceivable potencies and qualities of transcendental knowledge, is the basic causes of ecstatic. Lord Krishna also become the reservoir of ecstatic love by his different incarnation and expansion. So this is how. This is one of the examples where Krishna himself becomes the object and reservoir of ecstatic love in the impelling aspect. Are you able to relate or connect what's happening? Maybe
Actually, in the previous paragraph, it was written that there are 7 types of. If you could just scroll, I could ask.
let me just. So Vibhava, anyone knows how to? There used to be one text of making a flow chart. Anyway, so basically, there is Vibhava. Vibhava has two
We can't
categories.
see the screen, Prabhuji. We can't see anything.
Okay. There is Vibhava. Vibhava has two categories: basic, that means Alamban, and the second is impelling. So what is Vibhava? Now under the basic, Alamban, basic means the subjects who are tasting the rati. There are two types. There are two further categories as Vishay and Ashray. Right? Vishay means Krishna, and usually Ashray means devotee. Now Vishay, under Vishay, Krishna, so there is Anya Rupa, there are various forms of Krishna. So that chapter 20 is end, towards the end of the chapter 20. So Srila Rupa Goswami is talking about Krishna taking up the different form. So now next chapter, qualities of Sri Krishna. See, chapter 21, personal features can be divided into two. One feature is covered and the other feature is manifested. So when Krishna takes on an entirely different form to act as the object of his devotee's affection, that is called as Anyarupa. And then there is another form that is called as Swarupa. So Swarupa means Krishna's own original form, which stimulates the devotee's love. Right? And Swarupa, that we'll read. It's of actually two types. When Krishna's own form, but he's disguised as someone else. It is different than taking on a separate form altogether. Krishna is in his own form, but he is disguised or covered in some different form. And then second is Prakat Rupa, that means fully manifested form. So now the next two chapters will talk about the qualities of Sri Krishna, and these are one of the most nectarian chapters that you'll ever read. So with this little background of chapter 20, where Srila Rupa Goswami performs the invocation for beginning this particular division, and then he starts speaking about the transcendental mellows and gives an overview of rasa, right? So now he will go in more detail about uh, the same topic. Now this is dealing with Anubhava in great detail. So chapter 20 to 26, they actually deals with Vibhava, and then Anubhav, Satvik Vibhav, 1, 1, 2, 2 chapters are dedicated to them. Right? So let us, still there are 5 minutes remaining. Let us read something. You can also read these chapters. These are the one of the most nectarian chapters you'll ever read. Personal features can be divided into two. One feature is covered and the other feature is manifested. When Krishna is covered by different kinds of dress, his personal feature is covered. There is an example of his covered personal feature in Srimad Bhagavatam in connection with his Dwarka Leela. Sometimes Lord Krishna began to play by dressing himself like a woman. Seeing this form, Uddhava said, "How wonderful it is that this woman is attracting my ecstatic love exactly as Lord Krishna does. I think she must be Krishna covered by the dress of a woman." One devotee praised the bodily feature of Krishna when he saw the Lord in his manifested personal feature. He exclaimed, "How wonderful is the personal feature of Lord Krishna! How his neck is just like a conch shell. His eyes are so beautiful, as though they themselves were encountering the beauty of a lotus flower. His body is just like the tamal tree, very blackish. His head is protected with a canopy of hair. There are the marks of Shrivatsa on his chest, and he is holding his conch shell. By such beautiful bodily features, the enemy of the demon Madhu has appeared so pleasing that he can bestow upon me transcendental bliss simply by my seeing his transcendental qualities." So remember, we did one exercise upon describing the Krishna's form, right? And now Srila Rupa Goswami would start with the various transcendental qualities of Krishna. So Srila Rupa Goswami, after consulting various scriptures, has enumerated the transcendental qualities of the Lord as follows. So who is Krishna and what kind of qualities he has? Beautiful features of the entire body, marked with all auspicious characteristics, extremely pleasing, effulgent, strong, ever youthful, wonderful linguistic. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So wonderful linguistic, truthful, talks pleasingly, fluent, highly learned, highly intelligent, a genius, artistic, extremely clever, expert, grateful, firmly determined, an expert judge of time and circumstances, sees and speaks on the authority of Vedas or scriptures, pure, self-controlled, steadfast, forbearing, forgiving, grave, self-satisfied, possessing equilibrium, magnanimous, religious, heroic, compassionate, respectful, gentle, liberal, shy, the protector of surrendered souls, happy, the well-wisher of devotees, controlled by love, all auspicious, most powerful, all famous, popular, partial to devotees, very attractive to all women, all worshipable, all opulent, all honorable, the supreme controller. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has all these 50 transcendental qualities in fullness as deep as the ocean. In other words, the extent of his qualities is inconceivable. As parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, the individual living entities can also possess all of these qualities in minute quantities, provided they become pure devotees of the Lord. In other words, all of the above transcendental qualities can be present in the devotees in minute quantity, whereas the qualities in fullness are always present in the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Besides these, there are other transcendental qualities which are described by Lord Shiva to Parvati in the Padma Puran and in the first canto of Srimad Bhagavatam in connection with the conversation between the deity of earth and the king of religion, Yamraj. It is said therein, persons who are desirous of becoming great personalities must be decorated with the following qualities: Satyam, Shaucham, and mercy is called as Karuna.
Daya, Daya.
Yeah, slightly difference between Daya. Okay, mercy, perseverance, renunciation, peacefulness, simplicity, control of the senses, equilibrium of the mind, austerity, equality, forbearance, placidity, learning, knowledge, detachment, opulence, cavalry, influence, strength, memory, independence, tactfulness, luster, patience, kind-heartedness, ingenuity, gentility, mannerliness, determination, perfection in all knowledge, proper execution, possession of all objects of enjoyment, gravity, steadiness, faithfulness, fame, respectfulness, and lack of false egotism. Persons who are desiring to become great souls cannot be without any of the above qualities. So we can know for certain that these qualities are found in Lord Krishna, the Supreme Soul. Besides all of the above mentioned 50 qualities, Lord Krishna possesses 5 more, which are sometimes partially manifested in the persons of Lord Brahma or Lord Shiva. These transcendental qualities are as follows: changeless, all cognizant, ever fresh, Satchitanand, possessing all mystic perfections. Krishna also possesses 5 other qualities which are manifest in the body of Narayan, and they are listed as follows. He has inconceivable potency. Uncountable universes generate from his body. He is the original source of all incarnations. He is the giver of salvation to the enemies whom he kills. He is the attractor of liberated souls. All these transcendental qualities are manifest wonderfully in the personal feature of Lord Krishna. Besides these 60 transcendental qualities, Krishna has 4 more, which are not manifest even in the Narayan form of Godhead. What to speak of the demigods or living entities? So 5 qualities. So among 64 qualities, there are 50 qualities which can also be found in minute degree in the living entities if they become pure devotees of the Lord. Then there are other 5 which can to some degree can be found in the personalities like Lord Shiva or Brahma. Then the 56 to 60, those qualities can be found in other incarnation, Vishnu Tattva, Narayan form. But then this last 4 qualities, they are found only and only and only in Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. What are those qualities? So these qualities are, they are as follows. He is a performer of the wonderful varieties of pastimes, especially his childhood pastimes. He is surrounded by devotees endowed with wonderful love of Godhead. He can attract all living entities all over the universes by playing on his flute. And 64th, he has a wonderful excellence of beauty which cannot be rivaled anywhere in the creation. The first is Leela Madhurya, Prem Madhurya, Venu Madhurya, and Roop Madhurya. Leela Madhurya is a wonderful varieties of pastimes. Prem Madhurya is uniquely sweet devotees. And Venu Madhurya, uniquely sweet all attractive flute. And Roop Madhurya, uniquely sweet beauty. So now, adding to the list these 4 exceptional qualities of Krishna, it is to be understood that the aggregate number of qualities of Krishna is 64. Srila Rupa Goswami has attempted to give evidence from various scriptures about all 64 qualities present in the person of the Supreme Lord. So now, each individual quality and appropriate references from scriptures would be given to substantiate those qualities. I will read one at least. Beautiful bodily features. Any comparison of the different parts of the Lord's body to different material objects cannot factually be a complete comparison. Ordinary persons who cannot understand how exalted are the bodily features of the Lord are simply given a chance to understand by material comparison. It is said that Krishna's face is as beautiful as the moon. His thighs are powerful just like the trunks of elephants. His arms are just like 2 pillars. His palms are expanded like lotus flowers. His chest is just like a doorway. His hips are dense, and the middle of his body is a terrace. So this can be the object of our meditation for next couple of days. Why couple of days? Throughout our life, we can meditate upon the beautiful qualities of Krishna, and we can expand and always glorify Krishna in this particular manner. Okay, so we'll stop here. Anyone has any question, you can ask. To go to Mayapur, there is a small books that are available in the BBT counter. There is a separate small books, pocket books, which has been made simply on these chapters, the qualities of Krishna. So we can actually learn them verbatim, and they can be very beautiful meditation before starting our japa or worshipping deities. And this is how one can really go a little deeper in one's spiritual life and relish Krishna consciousness. And until and unless one has the higher taste of relishing Krishna consciousness, the lower taste remain in one's life. Okay, any questions? Anything you would like to share? Fine, we'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami ki jai, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu ki jai. Right.
Thank you, Prabhuji.